Welcome to CT Pulse on this Wednesday, January 17th. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and a tragic story this week out of New Canaan has put even more emphasis than usual on this year's flu season. A 10-year-old local boy, Nico Malazzi, died Sunday of complications from influenza B. Now, according to the CDC, cases of the flu rose sharply over the last couple of weeks and are higher than the same time period last year. Well, here to give us information on the flu season and protecting yourself and your family, we have Bridgeport Hospital's Dr. Zane Saul, who's the Chief of Infectious Diseases. Dr. Saul, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Dr. Saul, what can you tell us about this year's flu? Is it more virulent than usual?
Well, it's not necessarily more virulent. It is certainly much higher rates. Earlier on in the season, it started right around Christmas, and it continues to peak week by week. We have lots of people in the hospital and lots of people in the community that do have influenza. And with influenza, we see complications, which include pneumonia and possibly sepsis, which is what I understand the young boy suffered from and eventually succumbed to. Unfortunately, we do have deaths attributed to influenza every year. They're in the thousands. Usually it's the very young and the very old, but otherwise healthy people can also succumb to the flu. And, that's what the difficult thing with this infection is that it's got a lot of morbidity and the potential for mortality as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. I mean, you mentioned complications, and obviously when you see stories in the news that a young, seemingly healthy person has died of flu complications, it's alarming for people. But I want to talk kind of about that, the idea of a superbug. I mean, is there any indication of anything like that or a flu that would be resistant to normal treatments?
No, we're not seeing anything that looks like the flu is resistant to treatment. And if anything, our observations are that the people that do end up getting admitted to the hospital aren't as sick as they have been in some years. The very old and the frail patients with other comorbidities get pneumonia. But we haven't seen a lot ending up in the ICU, and we haven't seen a lot ending up on respirators. So from that respect, we think that the flu shot is helping to decrease the severity of the complications.
Yeah, I want to talk about the flu shot a bit. I know some people have discussed maybe it's not this exact strain of flu, but it still helps, right? It's still worth getting the flu shot even maybe this late in the season? Okay.
Yeah, so nobody should hear that the flu shot is not a great match. It's actually for the subset of flu, for H3N2, it turns out it's probably going to end up to be about a 30% match. And remember, the best we ever do is about a 50 to maybe 60% match. So it's not bad, but it definitely will confer protection. And then remember, there's other strains of flu. We're seeing some flu B out there as well. That's in the vaccine. So absolutely, even if you haven't gotten a shot yet, we urge you to go out and get one. It takes about 2 weeks to kick in, and flu season should continue through the end of February. Last year, it started later and went all the way to April. But like I said, this season started sooner, so hopefully it will end sooner as well.
Now, Dr. Saul, let's talk a little bit about the shot, because some people have strong feelings about whether or not they should get a flu shot. Some say, well, I never get the flu, so why get it this year? Or, people are worried about getting sick from the shot. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, so vaccinations have a tough rap against them from the years past when some of the childhood vaccines were linked to things like autism. So people are fearful of vaccinations, but what they forget is how helpful they are. And it's funny because anytime anybody that gets the flu and realizes how absolutely miserable it is, that's what pushes them to get the flu shot in the future. So if you know someone that has the flu and see how horrible they feel, or you get the flu yourself, that sort of gets people over the hump. But we recommend the flu shot for everybody over the age of 6 months. We have egg-free flu shots for people that have egg allergies. no reason not to get the flu shot. It's only going to help you still get the flu.
And you are also protecting, for example, infants, babies that can't get the flu shot as well from getting sick if you have the shot.
Oh?
You there, Dr. Saul? Did we lose you? No. Dr. Saul, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. That's all right.
I lost you for a little.
No worries. So I'm just mentioning you are also protecting others by getting the flu shot, like infants and babies that can't yet get the shot as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we want what we call herd immunity where, the majority of people are protected, and that can help. And the other important things are also, if you're sick, stay home. If you have flu symptoms, don't go to work, don't go to school, don't send the kids to school, because that helps to prevent the spread further of an already bad flu season.
Yeah, let's talk about prevention a little bit. Now, I have this debate going. We have this going here with a few people. Is it better to wash your hands with soap or use hand sanitizer, or should we be doing both?
Either or. Just wash your hands as much as possible. That's the message, and that's what we encourage in the hospital. And other things like cover your cough, cough almost into your arm, so that you're not spreading the germs, and then wash your hands immediately, either with warm water and soap or with an alcohol-based hand gel. They're both good, and yeah, I mean those are the kind of things, the hygiene that really helps to prevent the spread of infections. And again, the staying home when you're sick and, staying away from others. We forget, these are the winter months. Everybody's inside, sort of on top of each other, and coughing and sneezing, and that's how these things spread so easily.
Now, if you do have flu symptoms or you come down with the flu, how long are you contagious for? How long should you kind of separate yourself from other people?
Well, you should at least until your fever breaks for at least 24 hours. If you do have the flu, you need to be on the flu medicine for 5 days before you should go back into public. So some reasonable, just, common sense things. But definitely wait for your fever to break for 24 to 48 hours before you go back to work or back to school.
And when might it be time for someone to go to the hospital or take a loved one to the hospital if they're concerned about the symptoms?
Sure. So anybody that has other chronic illnesses, lung, heart, or any immune problems, if the fever doesn't seem to break in a reasonable time period, which is 2 to 3 days, if you start getting short of breath, if you have an uncontrollable cough, if you feel weak and lightheaded, those would be times to get to the hospital to get checked out, because the complications of flu, like we said, are pneumonia and sepsis.
Right.
And, particularly the elderly, people with chronic illnesses, and then the very young are the most susceptible to these. So, but anybody can still develop them. So if you meet the criteria for any of those things, and you just can't seem to shake it, get a hold of your provider and at least get an office visit in, or if you're really feeling sick, get to the emergency room so that you can get some attention.
All right. Well, Dr. Zane Saul, Chief of Infectious Diseases at Bridgeport Hospital, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, and thank you for doing this piece so people can hear.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much.
About the flu.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saul. We're going to step out for a break here on CT Pulse. We'll be back with more after this.
Walter Stewart's Market is your destination for the best big game fixings. From our house-made fresh guacamole and dips to chili, chicken wings, pulled pork potato skins, risotto balls, and take and bake house-made specialty pizzas. Combined with a selection of the best craft brews, Stewart's is your one-stop big game shop. Stop into Walter Stewart's Market, conveniently located at 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Call, click, or stop in today. Save thousands at the 2018 Auto Show event and start something new sales event. Now through January 31st.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Bay Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
Welcome back to CT Pulse on the HAN Network. Thanks again to Dr. Saul from Bridgeport Hospital for joining us to talk about this year's flu season. Now, many of our HAN newspapers are talking with your local health departments about the flu this year, and we'll have information in this week's papers and online, so be sure to check it out. We mentioned as part of the story the tragic death of New Canaan's Nico Malazzi, and we just want to send out our sincerest condolences to the family. On behalf of everyone here at HAN, we're thinking of them during this difficult time. All right, we are going to step out for another break. When we come back, we're going to lighten things up a lot with Doug Smith and some drawing conclusions.
Voted best gourmet to go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
Welcome back to CT Pulse on the HAN Network, and we are so happy to have back our own Douglas Smith for some drawing conclusions, and he's also, helping to defeat the vampires there.
Yeah, Van Helsing's, I'm letting him down there a little bit.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to the task at hand. He needs the hammer.
Exactly.
All right, so Doug, let's check out the cartoons you have this week. What's up first? I think it's a little Mark Twain library humor. I love this.
Yeah, the boiler had blown up, an old oil burner had blown up the library, so they had to close the place down for a couple days and replace it, and so we just have Samuel Clemens' ghost there.
Yeah, you should see when one goes on a paddle wheel steamboat. Yep. All right, I like it. Up next, the town will be collecting Christmas trees from the curb. Oh, good grief, a little Peanuts humor there.
Exactly.
Not much to clean up there with that tree, right? Doesn't leave a big mess.
Just needs a little love.
Yeah, exactly. Next, I think we have a P&Z card. What town was this for?
That was Milford.
Milford,
And
right?
actually,
Granny
we sort of ran a
Pots.
similar one a few last month for Ridgefield, but it was a tree house. I just did a
I
little
like
variation
that.
on it.
It's not a granny pod. Yeah, some P&Z zoning issues there. Up next, train service. This is for New Canaan,
Right.
yes?
Yeah, they're talking about cutting their budget, so they might not have weekend transfers to the city.
So there you go.
Yeah, might have to come down to this.
It's down to that. We'll see if anyone in New Canaan actually goes that far. All right, and tell us about this one.
This Route 35, they're just doing more construction on it in Ridgefield. It's like every time the town thinks it's over, they have to do some more construction, so it just never ends.
It never ends. Yeah, I know the Ridgefield Press is keeping track of all of that. And up next, Save Our Shelton cartoon. Tell us about this.
A little bit of fun there. Just, people are afraid of Shelton becoming overdeveloped, and they just keep coming in with more and more projects, whether you're for them or against them. They just seem to feel that Shelton's going to get overdeveloped. So
yeah,
little
bring
wordplay
on
there.
development. So the Boo Group. I like it. And up next, what town was this for?
That's Trumbull. And it's the old double dipping thing where people retire and then start a job with the town again and draw not just a paycheck but a pension. And, so there's arguments for and against it, but like the cartoon says, it's like, don't we all wish we could get a job like that?
Yep, I know. All right. So I believe that's all we have for this week.
Yeah.
But this is exciting. You actually have some of your artwork on display at the Easton Library right now.
Yeah, it's in the conference room of the Easton Library. I actually had a reception there last week, and about 2 or 3 people showed up. No, not really.
I'm
Got
sure
a good
it was
crowd.
lovely. How many pieces would you say are on display right now?
Oh, probably about 50, 60.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Was it hard to kind of curate that and decide which ones to go
Well,
up?
I had the displays at the Monroe Library recently, and I call it my traveling art show, and my wife, who's more organized than I am, just
perfect.
helped me with it, so it looks
Helped
good.
to get it done. All right, and we should say that at Easton Library, Doug will have a cartooning talk on Thursday, January 25th at 7 p.m., so you can kind of get inside his head and find out more about editorial cartoonist's brain, which is an interesting place. All right, Doug, thank you as always for joining us. We're happy to have you back. We're going to wrap things up here on your CT Pulse. Coming up at 2 o'clock is Nutmeg Sports, and if you missed any of the show, you can watch it on demand later. We'll see you next week.